Hello there. So Chancellor Olaf Scholz of Germany wants his country to be the defender of Europe. Chancellor Scholz said yesterday that his country stands ready to become the leader of European security. And why? Because he's come to the startling revelation that we are not surrounded by angelic, peaceful friends. As the most populous nation, with the greatest economic power and a country in the centre of the continent, our army must become the cornerstone of conventional defence in Europe, the best equipped force, he said. Has he asked Brussels about that? The EU does, after all, have its own vision about defending Europe, as they call it, and EU-wide foreign policy as well. Scholz also said that Vladimir Putin was trying to redraw borders across the continent with the aim of once again becoming an imperial power. So all European nations in NATO must take on more responsibility, he said. And €100 billion has already been allocated to the task. Well, better far too late than never, I suppose. Germany, as well as the UK, is relearning the importance of that old principle. Si vis pacem para bellum. If you want peace, prepare for war. One of the biggest defence scams of the past few decades has been this concept of a peace dividend, where, after the fall of the Berlin Wall and ultimately the breaking up of the old Soviet Union, it was declared by the West that instead of spending money on defence, we could now use it as a peace dividend to spend on social projects. And the UK was a part of this, with the Navy, Army and Air Force being hollowed out and cut well past the bone to fund whatever came into a politician's mind on the day. But our dwindling numbers of service personnel with dwindling capabilities were still required to front up to face danger whenever required, and on top of that, even with a UK population of 67 million, the 158,000 or so members of our armed forces are also required to be at the forefront of giving aid to the civil power during floods and plagues and the like. And with the lack of personnel, this usually interferes with training and leave cycles as well as real operations. What would you do if you were constantly told to break your holidays again to go and fix society? If we want proper defence and solid aid to the civil powers, we need more of them. Anyway, back to Germany, where they have the same concerns. Olaf Scholz said that drilling wells, dealing with floods and vaccinating people are not part of their core mission. For a long time, our country avoided a true prioritisation of the tasks of its army, he said. Going on to say that the core task of the Bundeswehr, the German army, was to defend Europe, and that everything else was secondary. Although surely the core task of the German army is to defend Germany, not Europe. So maybe Scholz has been chatting to the Eurocrats about this. Maybe Germany is to be the core of a new EU army. So might we soon see well-equipped uniformed German soldiers all over Europe, keeping the peace? Who'd have thought it? And it would be a blast from the past for some people.